What's up guys, this is Bryce with Dust Runners Automotive Journal, and today we're going to talk about the 350Z versus the 370Z. Nissan initially came to the US market under the name Datsun for fear of failure. With that Datsun name, they brought the 240Z, and since then they have been a top competitor in the sports car market. The Z family has changed a bunch over the years, but there are still some key features that make them all related. Low roofline, squished trunk, and a long hood are all features that every single Z has. After the success of the 300ZX ended in 1996, Nissan was a little unsure what to do with the Z. They created a new 240Z concept, but that was scrapped for fear of going backwards. Eventually Nissan showed the world their new Z concept, and they called it the 350Z. The 350Z was a lot like the outgoing 300ZX. They both shared similar design features like a long hood, but the 350Z was designed to fit into the modern world. With this new design came the new VQ35DE engine, which output around 300 horsepower and 260 foot-pounds of torque. If you want to read more about the VQ35, we have a full article on it that you can check out here. This new 350Z weighed in around 3,200 pounds, making it fairly light by modern-day standards, but quite a bit heavier than the original 240Z. It is able to run the quarter mile in about 13.5 seconds under perfect conditions, and an 8-minute 26-second lap on the Nürburgring, which was pretty decent for a sports car around this time. Fast forward to 2009 and it was time to replace the 350Z. Nissan replaced it with the all-new 370Z, which featured a larger 3.7-liter engine that made 332 horsepower and 270 foot-pounds of torque. Although this Z was built better and had more features, it was only 100 pounds heavier than the 350Z, weighing in around 3,300 pounds. For this Generation Z, Nissan wasn't particularly interested in improving the straight line performance, even though it ran the quarter mile a full second faster than the 350Z. Instead, Nissan wanted to make this new Z handle even better. They shortened the wheelbase by 4 inches, they lowered the roof by 0.3 inches, and the body was wider by 1.3 inches. Although we're unable to find an exact Nürburgring time for the 370Z, we would guess it would run an 8-minute 15-second lap. One of the biggest problems with the 370Z is the oil cooling system. If you plan on going to a track event, you'll want an aftermarket oil cooler because the stock one will allow the oil to get so hot that it turns to foam and will inevitably blow up your engine. Many owners also complain of excessive oil consumption, which can also be related to oil temps being really high. The main problems with the 350Z revolve around the rev-up version of the engine, which was notorious for excessive oil consumption. The VQ35 also struggled with camshaft sensing, but that issue was solved in later versions. Other than that, the 350Z is known for tire feathering, but that can be solved with quality suspension components and a nice alignment. On paper, the 370Z is better in every single way than the 350Z, other than weighing slightly more. The only problem is 370Zs are really expensive, and for the same price you could buy a much more powerful Ford Mustang, which many people would rather have. 350Zs have come so far down in price that the average 20-something-year-old can afford it. The Kelley Blue Book price on the 350Z is around $7,000 less than a 350Z, and $7,000 could buy you a lot of parts. You could use that money for suspension, tires, and bolt-ons. At that point you'd probably be able to run circles around a 370Z. If you want something new, reliable, and comfortable, then the 370Z is probably for you, especially if you can afford one. For someone my age, the 350Z is a much better choice because of how cheap it is, leaving lots of room for tinkering with aftermarket components. Let us know in the comments which Z you like better. This is Bryce with Dust Runners Automotive Journal, signing off.